2015, I want to say like around August. I'd been looking for the car for about 3 years at that point, for like a classic, I should say. This one in particular was one that I wanted to get, and the reason being is my father owned this car back in the 80s. This exact 914.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he had this picture of him where he was leaning against it, you know, back in the day, a little Polaroid of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, his big 80s hair and the super short shorts, and like he was like looking super cool, him and his friend. And I always looked at this picture growing up, and I was like, oh, why? You know, I was asking like, why'd you sell the car? You know, it's like, is his son? He doesn't know he's gonna have a son at the point that he sold the car. But you know, so through my grandfather's record keeping, I was able to, and his help, we were able to track the car down, say 6 owners later. So it was a almost 2-year process, and when we finally found the guy, you know, I emailed him, gave him a phone call, and he was really receptive about it. And so then we ended up talking some more, and he was like, I bought the car to rebuild it with my son, so I'm not really looking to get rid of it. Well, a year later, his son goes off to college, and he's like, he doesn't have any interest anymore, I'm looking to sell it. And so he called me up, and when he was ready to sell it, he knew how special it was to me, because I talked to him about it, and he was like, 10 grand firm. You know, if you want it for 10 grand, that's what you're paid for it, I'm not going to drop below. So he was like, all right, no problem. So I ended up printing a picture out of the car. I had him send me a modern photo of it, and my dad got home from work. I took the picture and I put it in front of him. So, do you recognize the car? And he was like, oh, it's a 914, it looks like mine. I was like, yeah, you know, look a little closer. And he looked, and there's some damage on the front right bumper, front right of the front bumper, and he saw it in the photo, and he was like, oh my god, it's like, is this my 914? And I was like, yeah, it's down in Savannah, Georgia. And we were living near Worcester, Massachusetts at the time. So yeah, so I don't even know if this thing still has active registration. We'll see. So yeah, we like, you know, called the guy up and we're like, hey, when can we get it? And he's like, I'm available these weekends. And so we borrowed a coworker of my dad. We borrowed his truck and rented a 2-axle U-Haul trailer and went through, and yeah, we drove down to Savannah, Georgia, and back to Massachusetts in a weekend. It's a 56-hour round trip. It's pretty crazy. We left a Friday night, drove through the night, got to Delaware early morning, picked up my dad's high school best friend, the other person in the photograph. Slept at his house for like an hour or two, got back on the road, drove down, picked up the car, you know, that day, and then took it for a little test drive, and everything felt loose and weird, and nothing felt, nothing felt good. That was almost another accident video for your channel.
Too soon.
Yeah, so, you know, and so we were like, all right, we'll take it. Something didn't feel right. And so we put on the trailer and drove back up, dropped Matt off at, this is my dad's friend, Matt, dropped him off back in Delaware, and drove back up to Massachusetts, and I started going through the whole car. Nut and bolted the whole thing. I took the whole thing down to, let's not get a second ticket here. Took the whole thing down to basically its tub, you know, minus a few components. I mean, no, a new windshield, I mean, everything. You know, redid a lot of the interior. There's still some spots that we kept how it was when I bought it, like the dash still cracked, and this door panel has a nick right there from when my father was driving the car back in the day, and he was playing with a butterfly knife and he hit the door. So we kept that. The seats are still the original seats, and, so it's not, you know, but a new carpet, new center console. It's been a labor of love, but I set it up to race. I set it up to do racing events, so that was my main thing. And you know, I took it, did a lot of autocrossing in it. You know, it was a good time. It was a fun car to drive. I would drive it on the road, set up like it was supposed to be on a track, and I did some stupid shit as a young teenager, or I guess an old teenager at that point. I was 18. You know, got some pretty pretty hefty tickets that, looking back on it, you know, it's like I really probably shouldn't have done that, but at the time, it's go to court, fight it, get it forgiven. But it's been a great car. It's my first classic. It's what introduced me to classic cars. It's what I started to learn everything on, and it's what drove me to start a career in restoring antique automobiles.
This is pulling amazing. I am very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's a saucy little car. It's a lot more fun when you're by yourself. This guy doesn't. He's freaked out, didn't see me, pulled over, thought I was passing him.
Yeah. Well, the weight reduction is the name of the game with these, right? Lightweight. Just...
Yeah, right. You know, you take one more body out of this car, and it's just a driver. It's hard to tell people. It's like, you know, you get out of the car and it pulls way harder, and you don't understand. It's like you have such low horsepower, like, you know, 150 to 200 pounds makes a lot of difference. So it's like, and like true on the other time, like I'll take my spare out, like I'll run like half tank of gas, like.
Oh yeah.
No outlet. That's okay.
Definitely speaks to your track experience.
It's a fun time.
Lower just about any car. You can, you know, raise just about any car for that trade-off of comfort versus handling. But a car this low, handling that well, and just feeling so flat, so planted.
Yeah, it's like almost no body roll.
Which is amazing, and my back is fine. You know, I feel good.
You really just don't have. You got no other option. You know what I mean? Like, if something goes wrong in this thing, you're getting lucky and living, or you're dying. You get in a collision with one of these things, it's game over.
No traction control, no safety, nothing.
Yeah.
ABS?
Nope. No
Nope.
ABS, no power steering.
Oh yeah.
It's a dangerous hobby. It's a dangerous hobby to be in. Driving classic, driving any car fast. As you know, I mean, even a low-speed accident can do damage that lasts with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
I agree.
Go to a racing school. Join the SCCA. You know what I mean? Go buy a Miata. They're cheap. Go buy a Miata. Learn how to work on cars. Do everything yourself. You know, you can save a lot of money that way. And then go do autocross. Go have fun. Go have fun in a controlled environment.
Speaking of which, I know one of the best reasons to buy a Miata, besides the fact that their entry-level price is still pretty good, relatively speaking, the Miata community is very cool. It's varied. I've been to Miata meets where there's 16-year-olds. I've been there where there's 80-year-olds, and everyone's been extremely nice. How is the Porsche community, and how is specifically the Porsche community for this model?
The Porsche community, you get a mix. You get a mix of people who own modern Porsches that they own them because they can and they like cars, but they make enough money to own them. You also get people who own antique Porsches, same exact reason they can. They liked them from back in the day. It was always their dream car kind of deal. As far as attitude goes, you know, or age, I should say, it's mainly older people because their entry price for this kind of passion is so big.
think I know where we are. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't hard for us to do, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't like oh, I'm just gonna buy a new phone. Little light the tires there.
Yeah. What tires are you running?
I couldn't tell you. God, I knew before I was running Dunlops. What are these tires?
I think they were Kumos, right? They felt pretty sticky.
I think they are Kumos. I think if my memory serves me correctly, they are in fact Kuma tires. They don't have a super high wear rate or anything like that. It's a sporty tire, but it's not like it's not like a racing slick or anything. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's fun back roads.
So this runs on straight 93 pump gas, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like to run 110 through it.
Is that Sunoco leaded gas?
No, that's like going to like some point.
Oh, I see.
And I think Sunoco is the supplier of the race fuel at Summit, coincidentally, but it's like 110 octane, no ethanol.
Oh yeah. My S2000 with the JDM engine runs so smooth on ethanol-free gas.
Yeah.
At that point in production, Japan wasn't using ethanol in their fuel.
But then through this car, I joined the PCA, which is the Porsche Club of America. We got a tour through the club, a private tour of Paul Russell and Company Restoration
Oh wow.
Shop, which if you're familiar